Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Brentwood. Today, we are going to start with an invocation by Steve Grissom, and the pledge and four-way test will be led by Steve Huff. We're double Steving today.
You know, this kind of tells my age, I guess, because anybody younger than me would come up here with their phone. But I have to come up here with paper and glasses. But I wanted to say we do have a few members to remember in my prayer today. But I just learned from Jane that our district governor, Eddie Allred, his mother, I believe, passed away yesterday. So we want to make sure to keep him and his family in our prayers. Let us pray. Father, as we enjoy fellowship one with another, may we grow in stature so that we may be able to give more to our friends in Rotary, and in turn give strength to the ideals of Rotary in the service of mankind. We ask you to be with several of our members and their families, Bill McCarthy, Dan Jordan, Leon Partain, and our District Governor Eddie Allred on the loss of his mother. We pray for those that are vulnerable in our society, whether that be those that are homeless, our children that are in our foster care, our single mothers, and those with substance abuse issues. May all of us have open eyes, open ears, and open hearts as we serve and recognize these people. Today, we just want to say thank you for this food that's been prepared for us. Help us that we receive the strength from this, that we may go out and serve our others. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice. Now for the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, second, third, and fourth, plus.
So we don't have any guests or visiting Rotarians today, but we have a lot of Rotarians that I haven't seen in a long time. So it's a great day at the Rotary Club of Brentwood. Laura Troop is going to lead us in Happy Bucks.
All right. I want to start first because I'm thrilled that Mark McFerrin is back with us. We are so glad that you're well and thrilled to have you back in this room. He's right over there. Yay. Oh, so I'll start with him, I guess.
So what were you doing in December? A lot of extra things happened in December. I call it the December blur. A lot of good things. And I was going full throttle. And then I felt a little something under my arm. Enough that said that didn't feel right. And they started snooping. And it ended up in an arteriogram. They said, we can't fix this. You're not going home. We're going to bust you open tomorrow. So my life, my December blur had a hard stop. And I know there's a lot we can all relate to a hard stop, whether it's relationships, finance, job, health. So I had the hard stop. And they did 3 bypasses. I'm 36 days on the backside. There's a lot of prayer. The night that I was in recovery, my wife, we decided not to let her come see me looking like a corpse with all kinds of stuff coming out of me. But there was a knock on the door that I said, who's here? Wants to see me? Well, this guy named Mike Barrett from Rotary. And I'm like, send him away. I don't want to see him. And I did. I sent him away mainly because I didn't want anybody to come see me before my wife did. I didn't want to have her have that memory. But he left a gift. and the gift was a blue Rotary blanket. Anybody got one of those? And man, that nurse put it around me and it felt so good. And I was just really grateful for this club and a lot of other people. So here's the reminder to all of us. Listen to your body. It talks to you. And don't be a tough guy or girl and just push it away. Get it checked out. Now, one more thing. A week before all this went down, I decided to leave a job and to say yes to another one. A week before. Got that all settled. And I praise the Lord that I work for Barefoot Republic, which I hope you'll learn more about, but it's faith-based camps for anybody, whether you can afford it or not. And the guy who started it basically said, I want kids to have what I didn't have. And so we have a camp 70 miles out of town here in southern Kentucky, and then we do day camps around. Family camps as well, bringing cultures together that don't normally hang out, those with money and those without. It's a little messy, but it gets better as the week goes on. So that's what I get to be a mouthpiece for. Thank you for your prayer.
We are glad you're back. So glad. Okay, who else is happy? You on this side? All right, I'm going here, and then here, and then up here.
I have $2. One to say, Mark, good to see you back. Know that I'm just down the street. And another one to see my old friend in commercial real estate, Tim Stowell over there. Tim, it's good to see you, brother.
About 7 years ago, I had both my knees replaced. And about a year ago, I had my left one replaced. And right after that happened, I got a letter telling that my knees were being recalled. And when I read the letter, I was hoping it was a joke, but it wasn't. So I'm 3 weeks out from having this one replaced. I'm not sure when I'm going to have this one replaced the second time here soon. So it's been interesting.
All right, who else? Here.
All right, I've got $4, and one is to thank Mark for what he just shared with us and to welcome him back. It's so good to see you. I have 3 other things that I'll be quick about. I could have made an announcement before the meeting, but I thought it was better during Happy Bucks because I'm really happy and grateful for the generosity of this club because I wanted you all to know that the foundation drive raised a total of $73,625. So clearly, your generosity is on display. That is going to do good work for the Rotary International Foundation and our local foundation. There are 2 other things that I want you all to be aware of. If you are interested in the Paul Harris Society, I know that our district is looking for that. And if you don't remember from my Foundation Drive program, that's $1,000 per year. So it's about 80 some odd dollars a month. If you are interested in that, please come talk to me and I will connect you to the resources to do that. And then lastly, the district has a matching points campaign that if you have not given or you have decided at the beginning of this year that you would like to give more to the Rotary International Foundation, the district is willing to match points. You can also come see me if you'd like more information on that. But thank you for your generosity.
I put $2 in. I have 2 kids in college, but my daughter, the youngest, is at UAB in Birmingham on a medical track, but she just made presidential list 2 years in a row. So I keep getting these really cool letters in the mail, and it makes me feel very fancy. So I just take them to the office. But anyway.
All right, who else?
I have 2 terribly important announcements. First of all, please, if you get the chance, send Sherry Koss a note. Stuff going on. She really needs some extra love and care. So if you want to send some hugs and kisses, it would be great. The second very important announcement is, and I put $20 in here to make sure that I could have my say, go Dogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. And hey, Mr. Searcy and Mark, it's good to have you back. I don't have any health problems, but I am overweight
I just want to say, 10 weeks to college baseball starts, and who's number one? Those Ole Miss Rebels, hotty toddy.
I'm gonna put $1 in for getting to watch somebody do happy bucks and run around the room.
Thanks. I'm really trying to compete with how well Beth did it that week, that she wore a hat and bounced around this room. You like had a record number of donations that week, right?
I'll have to PayPal you. Sorry, I don't have any real money. I know. Yeah. Hey, ask the treasurer. It's real. Thank you so much for those of you who came to my showing of the Dr. Wang's movie site. So I'm doing another one on January 31st. This will be your only invitation. But anybody who wanted to come to that, I think I have 5 more spaces before people will be sitting out on the patio, which isn't as fun. Hard to hear. So if you'd like to come and see Dr. Wang's movie, it was well attended by this crowd before and enjoyed. Tuesday, January 31st at my house, 6 o'clock. Just come talk to me. We'll do the details. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Last call.
Any more happiness? That was pretty successful, Happy Bucks. So we have a few announcements. Patrick, you want to go first on Harpeth River cleanup?
Very quickly, you don't have sign-up forms. I've got 16 of you who've said you'll help me next Saturday, some for check-in, some to lead sections. We're on next week. If you have decided that you just can't live without showing up next Saturday morning, and reach out to me, you know how to find me. But thank you all very much. Looking forward to getting this back on track this year. Donuts are back. Going to scale down the whole juice milk thing, but we're going back to Krispy Kreme. So if that brings people out, let them know they'll be there. So thank you. Those that did volunteer, you'll get an email from me just with a little information about next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Next announcement is that major grant applications are due today, right, Betsy? To Betsy Crossley. I think we've gotten, 10 applications so far? We got 2 more. We're up to 12. Okay. Due today. Any more announcements? Anybody have anything else? Okay, so. Oh yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that. Okay, Pancake Day Committee is meeting after Rotary today. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to ask Keely Hall to induct a new member.
No trivia. There's the applause. All right. Well, I am very happy to introduce my new friend to you. She is a new member, but her name is not pronounced Anu. It is pronounced Anu. Say it with me, everyone. Anu. Welcome, Anu. Anu Man is the last name pronounced Man? or Mon. Mon. Okay. It is German spelling that with the 2. Okay. Anu. Anu is an internist at the Spring Hill Williamson Medical Group, but she lives right down the road here in Brentwood. She tells us that her Fridays are an administrative day, so she gets to work from home on Fridays, which means she can join us. And that is very exciting. So we're super happy to have her. She is married to Daljit Man. They have 2 grown children, one in San Francisco and one in Bloomington, Indiana, correct? All right. She is also a member of several other civic associations, American Association of Physicians of Indian Origin, and she is a past president, the immediate past president of that organization, a member of India Association of Nashville, and is an executive committee member there. Indian Community Senior Support Services Board member. She's been in Brentwood, resident here for 12 years, been a doctor for 24. She came to us through the website, and Jack was not here, so I got to introduce her, and I'm super happy to do so. And I would like for everyone, this means you, I'm pointing to all of you, to come up and introduce yourself to Anu after the meeting. Anu, do you have anything that you just are dying to impart to the group? I didn't warn you. I didn't warn you that I would even offer you that possibility. Okay. Welcome to Anu.
Thank you. I'm really excited to join this club, and I've already learned quite a bit about what the Rotary here in Brentwood does, and more so internationally. So I think it'll be a while before I kind of learn the different committees and all the details, but I think it'll be really good fellowship and just to give back to the community because we're all so blessed. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm thrilled to introduce today's speaker. Just kidding. So I am actually excited about the presentation today. We're going to make it super informal. I'm going to ask the board members who are sitting at the speaker's table today to feel free to interject whenever they want. But as you guys may or may not know, your board of directors went through the visioning process with the Rotary District. So we had Rotary District facilitators sort of help us with this process, which we have not done in, I don't know, 5 or so years. And it's always good to refresh the goals and the vision for the club. So I'm going to describe the process that we went through real quickly, and then we will talk through the goals that we came up with, and we will then ask you for your assistance in accomplishing those. So when we did the process, I bet a lot of you have participated in something similar with other organizations. So you are asked to just envision how you would love to see the club 3 years from now with no limitations. So it's kind of like a dream big sort of thing. And so we did that. They gave us 6 categories to focus on. 4 of those categories dovetail with Rotary International's vision and action plan. And then 2 are categories that would always, no matter what Rotary International's plan is for that year, these 2 categories would always be part of a Rotary visioning exercise, and those would be fundraising and club size. So 6 categories. We'll get into what the others were here in just a minute. And so you brainstorm with each of those categories, and we put all of the ideas up on boards, and then you vote on them. And the ideas that got the most votes from the board members are the ones that made it to our actual goals. So hold up. There we go. So why is a plan needed? Obviously, in a group like this, our leadership changes every year. So it's important for the sake of continuity to have a multi-year plan. Many of our goals and projects are multi-year. You can't accomplish. Playground is a great example. It's not something you accomplish in 1 year. And the cool thing about the way that our club has the leadership ladder is that the next 3 presidents were part of this planning session. So it's a 3-year plan, and the next 3 presidents also have ownership in it. So as the saying goes, the only thing that stays the same is that things change, and Rotary certainly isn't the same that it was when it started in 1905, is that right? I think. And it's not even the same that it was a decade ago. So the world around us is constantly changing. So we have a plan, but we revamp it every 3 to 5 years. However, even when we revamp the plan, it's still based on the same values. So it's a way that we continue to honor the history of Rotary while we embrace the future. Okay, with that background, let's get this party started. As I said, the vision, our vision and goals will dovetail with Rotary International. So you may or may not have ever seen Rotary International's vision statement. And so here it is if you have not, and I'll read it. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So I told you that there were 4 categories that we focused on that dovetail with Rotary International's action plan. And here they are: increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. Obviously, since the clubs feed into Rotary International, it makes sense that our goals and our vision would sort of feed into that. Linus is so fancy. Oh, it wasn't? It was in the template? Oh, I'm so fancy. So as I said, we started out with the vision exercise. Then we whittled those kind of pie in the sky goals, ideas down into actual ideas that became our 3-year master plan. And then from the master plan, we took the extra step. So Rotary, in the district's visioning process stops before what our board did. We did some extra work to get this down to what we're presenting to you today. We actually went through quite a few meetings and sessions. We did some online meetings and have discussed this ad nauseum at our board meetings. So now we are at the point that we have the goals set, and the only thing we have not done, and that's what we're going to be asking for club input on, is the action steps. So as part of this process, the other thing we were asked to do is to create a new vision statement for our club, and Drew led the charge on that. So I'm going to ask our president-elect to come up and share our new vision statement.
Thank you, Jane. I'm not going to touch the microphone because it scares me to death. And I think some of the things that Jane has shared are really important about maybe Rotary in a broader sense, but because it really applies to our club, is that we honor the legacy of our past and the history of Rotary, but recognize that Rotary is changing every day. And that's one of the things that we wanted to keep top of mind with our vision statement, our club vision statement, is that we honor the legacy of those that have contributed so much to this club. But as we transition to a new generation of members, we want to make sure that we remain relevant and that this vision statement encapsulates what we're going to be focused on over the next 3 years. So it was important as part of this process to involve not just the board, but we formed a committee in addition to some board members that consisted of longtime club members and some fairly new members. And we talked through reasons why people chose to join the club and why people stay, the things that attracted them to the club, and what they ultimately want to see in the future. And what our job was to develop a word picture of our focus as a club for the next 3 years. It needed to be consistent with our mission. And for those of you that have forgotten what that is, our mission with our club is to provide business, professional, and community leaders an opportunity to promote high ethical standards and fellowship while serving in the Brentwood community, and also promote goodwill worldwide. It was clearly important to our committee members that we focus on the things that are important to us, and that was the relationships that are built here, the fellowship that occurs here, serving others, and how do we do that, and where do we do that? And so that's ultimately where we came up with the vision statement, which is the Rotary Club of Brentwood fulfills its mission by building deep connections which are historically grounded in service, fellowship, and friendship to serve our local, national, and world communities, our youth, and our own members. And so I'll leave that up there for a moment, but what I think this is intended to do is to present at a high level what our focus is going to be for the club over the next 3 years. And then Jane can come back and talk about the goals and action steps that will be consistent with this new vision statement.
Love that new vision statement. I hope every one of you does as well. I especially like the fact that we're doing, serving lots of external constituencies, but we also say that we're serving our own members. That's important. Okay, so you have on your table some paper and some pens, and I'll ask you to grab that right now, if you would. So we'll talk here in just a second. We'll start on the goals. And I told you we developed this into a 3-year plan. So each one of these goals are either something we felt we could accomplish in year 1, 2, or 3, or some of them are goals that that are just something you do every single year, and some of them are ones that you start on in year 1 with the goal of accomplishing by year 2 or 3. So I'll go through that. So what I'm going to ask as I talk about each goal, we're going to form groups to come up with action plans. So we've got the goal, but we need the steps necessary to accomplish that goal. If you have thoughts about that while you're sitting there, would you please jot it down on that piece of paper, and we'll take them up at the end of the meeting. If you are willing to serve on the group that's going to formally work on the action plan, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand as we talk about that goal. And the first several people that volunteer are going to get some Rotary swag. We cleaned out the closet, so there are only a few. Okay, so our first goal is related to club size, and this is an important goal for obvious reasons. We want our club to be thriving and healthy, and we want people to want to be part of us. We need to keep growing, and we are actually, as everybody in this room knows, membership sort of ebbs and flows. Seems like, you have several new members join at one time, and then we'll have folks who move away or whatever. And we are down right now in membership. So we do need to remember to invite people to Rotary. More to come on that. We're going to have March is going to be a membership drive month. We've got great speakers in March, and we're going to do some fun extra things at the meetings. So please go ahead and look at the speakers for March and decide who you know that might enjoy that speaker. Think about who you're going to bring as a guest. So the goal that we set, our club as of today, so my math is going to be wrong on this next bullet, but as of today, we have 102 active members, and we have 1 honorary member, Chief Hughes. But so that means in the next 3 years, we need to gain actually 18 members as of today, but that'll change along the way. So we'd love to be above that, but as I told you, we took these pie in the sky goals and tried to make them realistic and accomplishable. So 120. And so that is something that we obviously need to work on each of the next 3 years with the goal of being at 120 by year 3. Anybody on the board want to add anything to that? Kind of self-explanatory. Net new members. Yes, correct. Net new members. Absolutely. Okay, so if you've got any thoughts about how to accomplish that goal, jot it down. If you are willing to work on the action plan for that goal, raise your hand. Not everybody at one time. Oh, we got some takers. We got. All right. Jason Cook, Michael Heineman. Oh, Jared, we got Jared. Yay. And so one other thing I should say real quickly is that there also will be relevant committees, that are associated with these goals. And so the committees you'll be working with the people who are already on that committee. All right. So don't forget, if you've got a great idea for how to increase our club size, jot it down. Got one more? Okay. So the next category that is associated with the Rotary International Action Plan that we were asked to consider is how can we increase our ability to adapt? And kind of what that means is no matter what's going on in the world around us, there are obviously some foundational things that will help keep the club alive. And from there, we can adapt to whatever we need to. And I think a good example of that is COVID. So obviously, we were able to use technology to help us adapt. And so we went to the online meeting format and were able to keep Rotary alive and kicking during COVID. And, you know, our club adapted permanently, actually. So we now offer the online option so that if we have folks who are sick and can't make it or are out of town on vacation or whatever, they can still join our meetings. So if we keep striving to, oh, wait, hold up. Let me make sure you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. So the first goal that our group came up with is that we want our club to be known for interesting programs that attract new members. And that doesn't mean that we don't have interesting programs today, because we do. And I certainly don't want to do that job, but I thank the people who are willing to. And so we just want to keep trying to get better and better programs. That's something we should never stop trying to do. And so that we put each year. And it's something that we have a committee to do, but we really need everyone's help. If you've got an idea and a connection, we need to leverage everybody in the club's connections. So Bert will be our next. Sybil is this year's programs chair. Bert is going to take it next year. So please think about that. Anybody want to, do you have anything to add on that one? Okay, so if you have any speaker ideas or any ideas on how we can attract more interesting programs, please jot that down. Anybody willing to serve on the action plan to think of how we can attract better programs? I like it. Okay. Great. What happened to our slide? Did I do something? Oh, that's okay. Okay, so then the next goal that we would like to, have come to fruition by year 3 is that we would really like for every significant business in the Brentwood area to want to be represented in this club. That would be really cool. So we've got to think about, there are so many businesses right in our back door that are not represented in this club. And, we're looking for membership anywhere and everywhere, but especially the major businesses here. That would be, think about how much easier it would be to get sponsorships or to get, in-kind donations for our events, all that stuff. We want all the major businesses to be represented in this club. So if you have any thoughts on how we can do that, jot it down. And if anybody is interested in trying to help us figure that out, please raise your hand. Yay. Thank you, Keely. No, you won't be on it by yourself, because the membership committee will also, so you'll just be working with the relevant committee. So, okay. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Okay, so the next category that we considered was how to expand our reach. If more people affiliate with Rotary, not just as members, but as participants and partners, then we will obviously grow our capacity to make a bigger impact, right? And these are going to be the goals that we came up with to help us do that. The first is to increase Rotary's visibility. Oh, come on, board, step up. I mean, I can talk through it, but does anybody want to talk about what we meant when we came up with that goal? Anybody? Okay, I'll do it. So we were talking about things like, we want people to see the Rotary logo in public. We want them to see it everywhere they go so that people, question what that is and want to be part of it and see it on, projects, cool projects that have been accomplished and realize the good works that Rotary does. So things like, permanent, what could we do in terms of a project that we could put like a permanent plaque on that would have our logo that people would see every day? In our brainstorming session, it was things like, maybe at the inclusive playground, we add a water fountain that has the Rotary logo or something like that. And then we wear the Rotary logo more. Did somebody want to?
Yeah, I think this is one of the ones where we were saying we really need a lot of feedback from the membership, actually, in a marketing kind of sense. I think we all have our ideas of what that's supposed to look like, but it's also, as you know, marketing and business development takes a lot of financial resources behind it, unless we all have those connections, which we can do. So I think this one's especially important to hear from our club to say, hey, I've got an idea, and we throw bubble gum up against the wall and see what sticks. Anything we do is better than, it's a step forward, I think.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what we talked about.
I was just going to add, there's a lot of interconnection points in what we're doing here and some other things that people are working on specifically as it relates to membership. And I think that's to increase our visibility through having branded merchandise like Rotary things that people wear that make us recognizable in the community. As I think about this, and I think what we discussed is it's a little bit of an evolution. You kind of start with, increased social media presence, people wearing the brand more frequently, being more visible in the community and talking about Rotary, and then it maybe evolves into something where you have a plaque or something like that.
Yeah, and with the social media visibility, liking our Facebook posts, joining the group,
checking in,
following our LinkedIn posts, sharing all those posts that we do, so your connections can see what we're doing here at Rotary.
And I will say Jody's gotten quite a bit of press for us in the Williamson Herald too, so that never hurts.
And here's a free way to have extra publicity for us. The week before Pancake Day, you can wear your apron around. It's got the Rotary logo around. People go, what are you doing? What is that? And that starts the conversation. It's very easy. I did that last year. It worked great.
I did that break. If you not put a sign Rotary Meet here at the city limits.
We've talked about that and we need to revisit it. That's a good idea. You do? Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's awesome. Will you write that down so that we
One thing, when we got a lot of visibility when we were at the concerts in the park promoting the inclusive playground, and we would get a lot of questions about Rotary. And then we also, like Betsy and I went to the YMCA and we're promoting things there for race times, and just little things like that plant seeds in the community, and just getting 2 or 3 people to say, do you know what our Rotary Club does? Do you know that there's events in the city? I think like Franklin Rotary, I'm always seeing them at Pumpkin Fest and things like that. So we don't
they
have
do.
that in Brentwood, but there are places that we can go, like with the library or within the city events, and especially like summer concerts and stuff, that's great visibility and you know what Rotary is.
And we talked about, maybe a tent, maybe we invest in like a pop-up tent for our club that has our logo so that when we do go to those events, we have something that says who we are. So who would like to help work on the action plan for that? Jody, did I hear you say you wanted to? Oh, that's true. Yeah. Anybody else on visibility? Jennifer. Okay. So how else can we expand our reach? We could, does everybody know that we have a geographic boundary for our club? Every club has geographic boundaries. And, you know, theoretically, you either live or work within that boundary when you join the club. I think there are probably some exceptions that make sense. But so our boundaries go, you know, outside of what, you know, could be considered the Brentwood bubble or the, you know, Brentwood proper. And we thought that it might be a good idea to come up with some ideas for projects that were in the outer edges of our geographic area, so we can get visibility in the far reaches of our territory. Anybody have anything to add to that?
I think that's again one of those we need to hear from the club where they can understand maybe some ideas. I think you had, or somebody had a session earlier on in the year where we all kind of came up with community service project ideas. I think this kind of parlays into that because we need an idea for that in order to pull that off. And it won't be on a 1-year term. If we do a massive project that extends past that boundary, it's going to take a lot of planning and a lot of service hours. So I guess we just need to, someone's going to have to spearhead that, and then we all just jump on board with it, I think. That's kind of what we talked about.
And for those that don't know, the boundaries up to Harding Place.
Good job.
And over to Nolanville Road. Is that correct?
South of Harding Place. No, it could be anything, service project. So it doesn't, I mean, I don't think, when we talked about it, I don't think it has to be, you know, a playground. I think it could be, you know, a Harpeth River cleanup type project where it could be anything. It's just a project that would make us visible in the community, any kind of service project, whether it's that. So it could be anything. We're just, if anybody knows of something that that could be done in that area, let us know. So as far as time frame, we thought, you know, it's going to take us a little bit of time to come up with something. So we put year 2 or 3 for our goal to get that done. Anybody want to be on the action plan group for that? Awesome. Yay. Thank you. Okay. And then the last goal that we came up with for helping us to expand our reach was to, by year 3, we would have to work on this each year, but by year 3, we would love to see a 30% increase in members under the age of 50. And that's for obvious, you know, we need to keep, we need new leaders in the pipeline all the time. We need, there's always a balance between, you know, those who are, we're all going to get to the point that physical service is not our main contribution. Maybe we're more able to do financial contributions. And then when we're younger, maybe we can do more service and less finance. So there's always a balance we're striking there, but we just want to make sure that we keep the ability to do as many service projects as possible, and that we have lots of folks in the club to help make that happen. Of under 50, anybody know that? It's on Club Runner. I totally should have done that. Raise your hand if you're under 50. Yeah, it's definitely under 20%. Definitely under 20% now. Yeah, those who act like they're under 50. Anybody, I don't know that we had any great ideas on that when we talked about it. Any board member have anything to add on that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boom. I think that's. Yep, we are. We had a big party. And we're about to have another one soon. So more to come on that. But we do, fellowship is definitely a piece of that. You know, when people at RLI in the membership class, they tell you that people join Rotary for different reasons. And one of the main reasons is fellowship. So we are also going to be looking for more ways to incorporate fellowship opportunities. Anybody want to serve on an action plan group to help us figure out how to attract more young people? You want to? It does. It does. That's true. We could combine those. Combine with, yeah. That's a good idea. Got you on, okay, on the first one too. Okay.
Jane, I said that not to make you. Because that is that's the area with the most potential.
That's true. Good point. Yep. Very good point. Mm-hmm. It really is. Agreed.
May I say something there?
Please.
Here's why I've been in Rotary for 30 years. And here's what's happened because of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you just volunteer, Jim Villers? Did you just volunteer to, what I thought?
You typically don't be in Rotary 30 years. So.
Jeff?
One of the things that one of the things that I've heard a lot from younger people is that they are so engaged in building their careers that they have to see some kind of an ROI for participation. So
right.
Rotary. So exactly right. Business network is a big part of that. And for too often, Rotary has hidden under a shell about business networking. So encouraging that would be a really important step. The other thing is to form satellite clubs that have more flexible meeting schedules, perhaps reduced financial commitments that would allow those younger members to still be engaged and meet, and only occasionally maybe come to the main meeting.
Definitely. Zach.
There's a lot of wisdom in this room, and I invite people to think that that have been in the club for a while or just been on this earth for a while. Your legacy, like what you want your legacy to be. And I think as a relatively young person, I was raised with my grandparents, so the elderly to me is like amazing. And I was telling Michelle before that I pass a cemetery, I find that there is so much knowledge that is just in that yard. And the sad part about that is a lot of that knowledge is never getting transferred to the younger generation. So I invite people that think like they're like, well, I've already paid my dues, I've already done it, it's gonna just kind of show up on Friday. I would invite you to think of what you can give back on passing your legacy on, because to echo on Jeff's point, I would say, yeah, we are probably as a younger generation care about our careers, but there's intangibles that you just can't get unless you experience life. And as a person that loves to learn from other people and not make the same mistake twice, I think it'd be pretty cool and a great opportunity to kind of hook people in and be like, you're going to learn and you're going to give back to people in the community, but you're going to gain so much more from just being around like all you amazing people. So.
Thank you. Okay, so our next category, we're actually starting to bump up against our stop time here. We need to enhance participant engagement. Obviously, that's important for retention of members, right? So I know that both of these, this sort of combined goal have been done in the past, but we'd like to reinvent those in the club. And that is a new member greeter program or a new member mentoring program, and then a guest greeter program. So if you have thoughts on what would make either of those successful, please jot them down. If you would like to help work on those programs, raise your hand.
If you have a desire to be a mentor, please, that's what we need right now. Is like, if you would love to be a mentor and help acclimate a new person into our club, we would love to know that.
Okay. Anybody interested in that? Larry? Mentor or or greeter? Okay, awesome.
Patrick's got his hand up.
Mentor? Okay. Awesome, Jeff. Who's that, Rick? You got a good group of mentors. Okay. Ted. Michael Kaplan. You mentoring or greeting guests? Okay, you awesome. All right, thank you. Okay, so the next one under this category was to implement a tiered dues and meal structure. That is something that we've talked about for the last few years. It's probably going to take us a while to get to, the point that we can actually come up with something that makes sense. The rationale there is that that's one of the reasons that we can't get younger members because of the, the price of dues that include meals. So it's something that we're starting to think about. And I think, that is something we'll probably get to next year, I think. Charles?
Issues. And I wonder if the answer isn't to have sort of a second version of the club. That's this thing that I sometimes hear about where they meet at a bar and there's no meal and it's much more informal. And those are the new clubs that are growing like tremendously.
They are like the Franklin Club, but
Yeah.
the other thing is we don't want to make our club, so there's a balance here.
100%. There's so many members who are committed to this structure and likes this structure. I count myself as one of them. And if you try to make that too much like this, then it doesn't work. If you try to make this too much like that, then it doesn't work. So what if we just have a second club that's 100% what younger people want? Yeah, the satellite.
Jeff said that a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and then we don't have to try to jam our foot into a shoe that doesn't fit.
Yeah, that's a thought.
Run off existing members.
Right. Okay. Yes. All right, y'all. We can't hear over here.
Yeah. One other thought on the satellite club is to have one set up, say, for healthcare workers and another one for teachers, so that there's an affinity that goes on there, and we can structure it specific to attract those kinds of members.
Yeah, satellite can be part of the discussion for sure. Okay, so moving right along, we need more fellowship activities. That's been, we've heard that in lots of different forums. So we did, sorry, I didn't see you, Chuck. Yes.
We could change the name of the place we meet to 50 Under.
Well, that's a good point. That's true. Looking for younger people younger than 50, and we meet at 50 forward. Okay.
What do we pay? We bring a guest. Okay, you bring 3 guests, how much is that gonna cost you? Can we have some sort of discount, from when you, when you bring a guest, some sort of discount for what they eat, you know?
That could be part of the discussion for sure.
I mean.
Yeah, write it down. That's good.
Because
Mhm.
I think we may be one of the most expensive places to go to Rotary.
Could be.
Yeah.
So membership drive is coming up in March. We're going to do free guests for months. So bring some. Okay. So to get us back on track from a timing perspective, because we got to go now. We got to fly. More fellowship activities. We had the one social earlier in the year. We're looking at another one in February and potentially a third one after that. So we are working on that now. The other thing we thought about was to provide incentives for completing Rotary training, whether that is, there's a ton of Rotary training online. And there are lots of classes also offered by the district. And so that's something I think the board can handle that one. But we are going to implement a program so that, you know, we want people to know more about the organization so that we have leaders in the pipeline. Okay. How can we increase our impact? So we, I think, are doing a good job this year of getting more members to show up for our service projects, but that's what we're looking for. We need, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Beth. Yay. Waverly,
for
we've
everybody
been,
out there.
we have been a club that has been one of the best represented at the last several Waverly events. So that's good. But our goal is to have 30% of membership participate in at least one service project annually. So if you come on Fridays but don't participate in a service project, please consider getting a little more active in that regard. And I think our community service committee is handling that one. Another great way to increase our impact is to partner with other clubs. It's an easy way to increase our impact. We do that in Waverly. Uh-oh.
I think it was 30% increase from where we were now.
It was.
think we
It
just
was
missed
supposed to
one.
be a 30% increase.
good.
Skills,
I thought
man.
surely
Excuse me,
we're
typo.
In
Yeah, I missed that too. Thank you, Laura. We aren't that big of slackers. We're slackers, but not that bad. Okay, so we can partner with other clubs on service projects. If you have any ideas on how we can better partner with other clubs, jot that down. But I think that's another one that the community service committee, I think, can figure out. So there is a new grant program that was just, I think, Susie, did Grants of Scale just come out this year? I think it did. So it's a new grant program through RI, and they have to be a minimum of $2 million. So these are, talk about making a big impact. These are huge projects. And it would be super cool if this club could take the lead on one of those in a couple of years. So start thinking about that. I think that one probably makes sense for BRCCF to take, but any ideas you have, just know that there is a huge grant program out there that we've not tapped into before because it's brand new. And I would love to see this club take the lead. Does it have to be? I don't think so. Does it have to be global? Not to my knowledge. Okay, and then the final goal category is fundraising. And I believe that a lot of these things are already underway through our unofficial fundraising czar, Mr. Larry Kane. But these are the goals that the board came up with during our session. We would like to see the golf tournament proceeds increase to $150,000 per year. Where'd we end up last year, Larry? 121. So in 3 years, we'd like to go from 121 to 150. And Larry's committee, I think probably all these, Larry, your golf committee, if you want somebody to help you with the action plan, if you want volunteers, let me know, but otherwise, okay. Add a silent auction to the golf tournament. That could be an easy one. I think that's already in the works. Little did we know when the board was brainstorming that Larry was also brainstorming. We'd like to see 4 new major or annual sponsors by year 3. So that's something we would work on each year, but would like to have 4 new by the 3rd year. And as everyone in here knows, we will take sponsorships we sell sponsorships for actual events, but we also have an annual sponsor option so that you get recognition at all Rotary events. And then finally, we'd like to see, so golf is now our major fundraiser, right? We'd like to see 1 new fundraiser added. And that could be Pancake Day used to be a fundraiser, and then it became more of just like a community event. So this, when we say new fundraiser, that could be turning Pancake Day back into a fundraiser, or it could mean something new. We talked about bourbon, wine, and beer tasting event. So, we talked about car shows. It could be anything. So if you've got an idea for an easy fundraiser, jot it down. Yeah, it probably doesn't. I know.
Not only because alcohol is involved, obviously, but there are precedents for this. When I was in the Anaheim Hills California Club, I know everything California's not all bad. We had an excellent fundraiser every year in the form of an Oktoberfest. It raised thousands and thousands of dollars for the club. And also think about Molly Chatterjee of blessed memory. Do you all remember the wine tasting she had some years ago? I was actually still married at the time. But anyway, thinking back, it's been some years ago, but seriously, it was an amazing event. And if you think about it, these were both excellent things that we did, not only in California, when I was involved with that club out there, but also here in Brentwood. We had that wine tasting. It was an amazing way to bring together Rotarians. It was excellent fellowship, and it was also a great way to raise money. So please give some thought to this, because it is a great way to increase our fundraising ability as a club.
Okay, so what are our next steps? How will we get there? We've got the master plan and the goals that we generated from that master plan. Next step is the action plan for each goal. So, it's taking volunteers along the way. That's what it's for. We will have the relevant committee work on the action plan for those goals, as well as anybody else who's interested. If you're passionate about one of those items, please work with the committee. Let me know if you did not today and you decide you want to. We would love to have your participation. And anybody have any questions? Does everybody like our our goals? Did you have something? Oh, okay.
Patrick, just so you know, the video from the meeting along with the PowerPoint will be posted on our YouTube channel with a link to our private YouTube page, and Jody and I will work on getting it on the public page as well.
Okay. Anything else for the good Rotary? Jody, real quick.
During Happy Bucks, but because we did so much for the inclusive playground, basketball season has started for Full Circle. It's a Holy Family Church. The younger and folks that are not as engaged play from 9 to 10, and from 10 to 11 is actually more competitive. And I have to tell you, I went last week, it was the best 2 hours of my life. And the 10 to 11 group, girl power, little girl with Down syndrome, highest score on the team. She was amazing. So if you have an hour to spare, want to come, they look for coaches, volunteers. it's so rewarding, y'all.
Okay, if nothing else for the good of Rotary, please help put away the chairs and tables, and we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.